Well, hello everybody and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And today is February 4th, 2020. And yep, we got some more wind here. Not really bad though. They were talking about, they had a big scare about major 80 mile, 90 mile an hour winds. Well, the highest I saw it get here was just around 36 and a half. So it never really did produce the double that winds that they were talking about. But I'm sure some people somewhere got that, just not here. But yeah, the temperature's way down at 47 degrees, 9% humidity. It's dry, but there's a wind chill out there. And that wind chill is really making it cold. So I've been hunkered down and just doing some inside cleaning, things like that. But with the winds blowing like they have been and bright, clear, sunny skies, as you can see out here, I've had plenty and plenty of electricity, lots of extra electricity. So I had everything on. I had the TVs on. I had the big computer on. I had the laser printer on. I printed some pages I needed to print. I even turned on the electric radiator, the oil-filled radiator in the bedroom and let that warm the cabin so I didn't have to use any propane. And I still had more electricity than I needed. So yeah, everything's been producing very, very well. I've had a few questions that I want to address on this one. And I know some of them I've gone over before, but to save time from having to go back and find those videos, I'm just going to do a little bit of an update on that stuff, okay? So I had a question from Vicky about my wind turbine and what speeds does the brake come on? Well, on these type of turbines, they're permanent magnet alternators and permanent magnet generators. You don't ever want to put a brake on those. You'll burn them up. It's just not a good thing to do. So what we do instead is you buy a turbine that's rated for higher wind speeds than you'd ever see. For instance, my KT5 is rated for 90 plus miles per hour. Okay, and that's as fast as it will ever go. The RPMs cannot increase after 90 miles per hour winds out there. That's the stall speed of the blades that are on it. And that's how they make those things. So you don't need a brake on it. There's a such thing as called a brake tail, where the tail itself is hinged and can be disconnected and turned so that the turbine will not turn into the wind. It'll turn sideways to the wind, and that will keep the turbine from spinning if you're going to have super high winds. But the way I look at it is, okay, the KT5 that I use is rated for 90 miles per hour plus a little bit more than 90 miles per hour, but all bets are off at 90 miles an hour. If you're in 90 mile an hour winds, the last thing you're worried about is if your turbine is making electricity or blown apart because the winds were too high. Because you're in a hurricane, dude. They're not calling you a dude there, Vicky. I just figure of speech what I just used, okay? So that being said, you also wanted to know about adding a turbine to a battery bank solar system and about the controllers and things like that. Okay, so I've been over this before, like I said, but I'm going to just touch on it quickly again. And we're going to take a walk outside. I've got my windproof mic on. We're going to take a walk outside and go over to the electric room so I can just basically point things and show them. It makes it a little easier. And on my way, I want to do a shout out to Jeff's Homestead. That's Jeff apostrophe S Homestead. The guy's trying to get a homesteading channel going, and he's got a few videos on there that are just little practice videos. He needs some help, people. Go over there and say hi, subscribe if you can, and tell him G-Bear sent you, and give him some ideas of what you would like to see, what types of videos you'd like him to see him shoot and post for you. He's open to suggestions right now. He's looking to get monetized on his channel, and he can't do that till he reaches 1,000 subscribers. So anybody that can go over there from here and help him out, please do. All right, here we are. We're outside at the electric room. So I'm going to come over here and swing a door open, and the wind is blowing at my back today. So excuse me a minute while I get the gate open. All right, so there's the idea on the turbines. Okay, so this is a 3-wire turbine. These are the 3 wires coming in off the turbine. They're all the same color. They don't have to be hooked up in any special order. This is on an alternator type, AC type wind turbine. Now a DC turbine will have 2 wires. One will be red and one will be black. That's positive, negative. Okay, but if you have an AC, a 3-phase like this, you're going to have 3 wires all the same color. You could hook them up in any order, and they have to go through one of these things. This is called a rectifier. Okay, so these are the 3 wires coming in, and I have them fused here. Those are the 3 wires coming in, and then these 2, there's a red and a black. Those go through my meter here, so you can see, I can see what kind of productions I'm getting. Right now the winds have calmed down a little bit, so I'm only putting out 104, 138, 140 watts, 155. So you get these little gusts of wind and it climbs right up there. And then these are the amps I'm putting out right here. That's current amps. Now this one here tells you amp hours, volts max, watts, watt hours, amps peak, and watts peak. Okay, so that's the highest of the peaks, are the highest numbers that I've gotten so far to date on this system. Okay, and then coming out of that, that goes to wires that connect to the negative pole of the battery, and then I went through a straight DC inline breaker to the positive pole of the battery, and that's only so I can shut this off if I need to do some work on it and take the power off of the system, or if I want to reset these numbers back to 0. If I want to reset all these numbers back to 0, I can shut that off. But you want to do that kind of stuff on a calm day. You don't ever want to try to disconnect the power runs on your alternators or generators for wind power. That causes them to freewheel, and freewheeling can burn them up also. So you want to avoid that. All right, Vicky, I hope that answers your question. The other question that Vicky had was about the shade cloth on my my garden house. And let me get this closed up here before my fingers get caught in the door. Okay, the shade cloth, you can see it blowing around and flopping a little bit. That doesn't hurt it because the wind actually is going through it. It's basically a screen. It's not a hard cloth like a tarp or something like that. Those things cause problems, and boy, I've had tarps over here that got shredded in winds lower than this, but these things hold up pretty well. And as you can see, the way I've got them fastened up there, I got these screws in each one of the holes, so it holds it pretty solid. The ones on the roof, they're just stretched across and they flop a little bit. And you can't expect these things to last forever, especially in the sun. They will break down after a while in the sun, but these have held up pretty good now for a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to those going at least another year before I have to worry about changing them out. All right, one thing I didn't show you the other day was I did bring some of the trees I got from Chris and Aurora. These are all citrus trees. I brought those in here, and it's been really a really deep frost here, but these things are holding up pretty good. I watered them and got them really good and soaked before the cold temperatures hit. And I'll be doing that again later today. The avocado tree, that one, it didn't like the cold last night because it got down to 23 degrees here. And you can see some of the leaves that blew off of it in the wind are stuck over here. And even this shade tree has lost some leaves because of the extreme cold. And we got one more night of deep freeze going on. And then the weather's supposed to climb back up and get back to normal. I guess Mother Nature didn't watch groundhog and noticed that he didn't see his shadow, so this is not supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be early spring. What's wrong with you, Mother Nature? Come on. So anyway, yeah, and just the other day I saw a couple more monarch butterflies just on the ground out here, and that was a good sign. And then all of a sudden, here comes the deep freeze. Oh well. Well, I'm going to head inside now because this wind is cold, and I can just barely stand it with my shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops on, and only 43 degrees out right now. But hey, the sun's shining, the skies are clear. The geoengineers aren't working today. That's yeah, I got some people out there that are calling me an idiot for saying the geoengineers are spraying. I guess they've never actually decided to educate themselves and look that up, but there's a lot of people out there that have used the Freedom of Information Act to get government paperwork that proves that it is happening. And you know, if they took the time to, instead of using that time to go on YouTube and just look for people they can call an idiot and make themselves feel big and powerful, if they took a little time to educate themselves first, they'd go, oh wow, I didn't know that. All right, everybody. G-Bear, remind you, give it a thumbs up down there. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Again, subscriptions are free. Don't cost you anything. And for all those new subscribers recently, I found some comments in my spam folder because I had time today inside. I went through there and I found some in there that I never got to see. I replied to them and thanked them for subscribing. Welcome aboard, everybody. G-Bear signing off.